Hello, everybody. I'm Lori Jo Vest, and if it's Tuesday at 10 o'clock, it's time for Pop Speed Digital Marketing's Hot Take Tuesday. So here we are today. We are talking about social media, pop culture, internal culture, just all kinds of different things that are on our minds, just to help you get to know us a little bit better. And we are a digital marketing firm that provides social media, content creation, website development, and email marketing to our clients located in Troy, Michigan, as well as Wisconsin, Grand Rapids, and Pennsylvania, because we are a remote team that is kind of stretched out all over, but we're dedicated and we're small but mighty. So, with me today, I have Molly and Kylie, and they are, I believe, number employees number one and number two. Now we're up to 7 people.
Mhm.
But we are here today to talk to you about why every social media marketing effort is not the same. There's no one size fits all. So if there's an agency calling on you that says, "Oh, we have a process for this and it works for every client," that's a red flag, right? Red flag, red flag. So Kylie, lead us into this.
Yeah, so really along the lines with what Lori just said, there are so many red flags to look out for I think Lori and I were having a conversation about it yesterday. We see all the time people reach out on LinkedIn or even on Instagram. Sometimes we see it saying, oh, we have the secret recipe for social media success and it works for everybody. Really not the
No.
case. So, what we're going to talk a little bit about today is why every single social media effort is different. And our big three items to touch on here are that goals shift with every engagement. No two voices are the same on social, and everybody prefers a different process on your client roster. So really
Yeah.
we'll dive into it, but it's pretty impossible for every single social media marketing effort to function in identical ways while still
Yes.
generating success.
Yes. If you want ROI, you must have an agile social effort. And by
Exactly.
agile, I mean shifting, moving, changing, evolving. As we put together the work for each client, we are looking at what's working and what's not working. I heard a suggestion yesterday that I thought was pretty awesome, that the guy was saying if you get a new social media account, you should try 10 different things 10 different times
Hmm.
and then see which ones perform, because one or two times isn't necessarily enough to know if that concept or that idea, that theme is resonating with your audience. 5, 6, 7, you're going to start seeing whether that works or not. So, Kylie, talk about this slide.
Yeah, absolutely. So, diving into this slide, the first point we'd like to kind of hone in on here is that every client's goals or every brand's goals are different. And you can't reach the same people or achieve the same goals with the same strategies. So on
Right.
our client roster, for example, we have clients that are looking to get volunteers or more donors or event attendees or increase sales or increase followers or generate qualified leads. And all of those things are things that you really can accomplish with a solid social media effort, but you can't
Right.
accomplish them in the same way.
Exactly. I have a question from the audience. Alex Kimbrough is asking, isn't there a certain time of day to post in order to get the most responses? And I have to answer this one. Hi, Alex. Alex is awesome. I've known him for quite a long time. He's a director at Fox 2 and just an awesome human being. But he wants to know if there's a certain time of day. And this is perfect for this slide because
Mhm.
honestly, every client is different. When you get into, if you're reaching an engineering audience, maybe a CEO or a VP level type of audience, business to business, 7 a.m. could be the perfect time to post
Mhm.
because they may look at their social media in the morning before they drink their coffee. If you're trying
Mhm.
to reach families, it may be 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So
Mhm.
every client is different. Every single client is different. So back to where you were, Kylie. Keep us going.
Yeah, so kind of keeping in line, that's an excellent point, and I think a really great segue into the next point is that not only not only is it cause different reactions based on the way that you will reach your audience and achieve those goals, but moving into this next slide, no two voices are the same, which
Right.
indicates also that no two ways of reaching your audience are the same. So I think timing of posts is a great way to kind of clarify that difference. Exactly what Lori said. If you're posting specifically B2B and looking strictly at LinkedIn, 7, 8 a.m., sometimes maybe 9 a.m. Might work and garner results, but really that before your morning coffee, people are scrolling LinkedIn more than they're reading the newspaper in that sense
Yes.
right now, right? So, but then on the flip side, exactly what Lori said, if you're, trying to reach local moms or dads or teachers even, it's going to be an entirely different time of day just based on demographic trends and when people are on social. And
Absolutely.
another thing to consider in that realm of every audience is different is the type of voice that different audiences respond to. So
Yes.
I think speaking to our experience is, the best way that we can. We have a lot of clients that are in the healthcare industry, and then we have, a nonprofit client that's looking on supporting children and reaching families. And the way that we communicate with those two audiences is entirely different. So if
Very.
your agency, hones in on one voice across the board, it's not going to be as successful as if you're able to adapt that voice to really speak to the individuals that specific brand needs to reach.
Absolutely. We have another question. This one is from Gary May, that clients in general don't have the patience necessary to stay focused on what can work. Gary, this is a perfect question. Gary's another person I've known since forever. One of my first jobs in the video production business, I was hired by Gary, and I'm so fortunate because that did really help my career move in a great direction. But he's right. Clients don't necessarily have the patience, and they need to have patience, especially with brand new efforts. There are
Mhm.
times when a client is just entering the social media space in a certain way and they want things to happen right away. And we'd all love it if things happened right away, but it takes time to
Yeah,
build your audience, learn what they like. What I mentioned earlier, if you're going to try 10 different messages 10 different times, that is time consuming. And
yeah,
so in order to learn what you need to learn and to truly grow someone's business on social, their presence and their ROI, you
yeah.
have to give it 6 months. I mean, it really does take 6 months.
I
I
think
it
we have, sorry to interject, Lori. I just
Oh, go
think
ahead.
to speak to what Gary said too. Hi, Gary. I think another really interesting thing that we've experienced before is a bit like it's going back to voices, a constant shift in look and feel and voice because we're not getting the immediate results that the client wants. And that's a
Yeah,
surefire way to make sure that you do not ever see those results. If you're
yeah,
not building brand recognizability or if you're not patient with an effort, particularly ones that are starting from scratch, you'll be disappointed.
yeah, you will. And on the flip side of that too, if you have a client that is, established in the social space and doing really well with their audience, and maybe you pick up the client because someone, decided they let someone go or something like that, you may have to step into a space and recognize what already works and emulate that. So it's not that every time you come in, you change and try something new. Sometimes
Mhm.
you're working with an existing account and you want to be able to speak that voice, emulate the graphics and the look, the brand standards to keep getting those results. So yeah, every client is so different. Every message is different. Every audience is different. But
Mhm.
from here, we're going to move into how the process is different for each client. And Molly, I'm going
Exactly.
to let you cover this one because I know you have got the way we work. Molly and Kylie both manage certain accounts, and Molly has some that are on such far ends of the spectrum. One's way over here in the involvement, and the other one's way over here in the involvement. So talk to us about those two clients, Molly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of on the flip side of instead of how how audiences respond differently on the back end, the people that we work a lot differently also. So, whether it's an
Yes.
approval process or the meeting schedule, what works for one client is not necessarily going to work for another.
Right.
And so, for example, I have a client that We send them social once a month. Like we send them the outline, he gets back to us, and we send the social, he gets back to us. I schedule it. We maybe meet once a month, maybe not,
Maybe not.
but we
And he's
communicate
good.
pretty consistently, and he's very hands off, and
He's happy.
it's a great working relationship, but he's happy. And I
Yes.
have another client where we meet weekly and we write together. And she's very, very involved, and which is great. And
She's
neither
awesome. And so it's super fun,
Yeah.
which I love. That's the fun part of that is group writing together can be super fun. And we're open to that. Right, Molly?
Yeah.
I mean, you enjoy those meetings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like one approval process isn't better than the other, but they both work and they work for each client. And it's really just all about being flexible on our end to make sure that whatever works for you is working for us.
Exactly. Exactly. So Kylie, wrap us up.
Yeah, I think I had another little tidbit I wanted to add to that because I think that that's so true, and I think that that goes back to the beginning of this conversation, Lori, when you mentioned the importance of agility. I think
Yes.
agility comes in so many facets in this industry that we exist in every day, right? It's important if you have a client or your own brand and you're an internal social media manager to be able to get something up quickly that's going on in a timely fashion and it just happened and you need to adapt and think of a caption, get it up quickly, make it engaging, really have an intention behind it. Then on the flip side for us, it's really important to be able to work in the way that most works for our clients, whether that is extremely hands-on or maybe not so much. Everybody's going to have a different preference and it's on us to really make that work. So just from all the way in the back end to the stuff that our clients and the audiences don't see to every bit of content that we're putting out into the universe, I think it's just really important to get across that our main message here today is just that you cannot treat every social media marketing effort in the same way.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it's all different. It all changes, and agility is key in the social media industry. So when you are, if you're vetting a new social agency, you may want to ask them what happens if something like there's a crisis that needs to be addressed immediately. Do they have plans in place for managing that? Do they have experience in that? Is there someone available on the weekend if there's a big something that happens in pop culture that your brand really wants to jump into and it's appropriate? How are they going to handle that? So agility is a huge part of social. We could do a whole Hot Take Tuesday. We could do a whole
Yes,
hour
we could.
webinar on
Maybe we
agility.
will.
So we will let you go. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if it's Tuesday at 10 a.m., it's Hot Take Tuesday from Pop Speed. So we'll look forward to seeing you again. If you want to get in touch with us, we are all open networkers here on LinkedIn and would love to hear from you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.